This is the Evening News of Monday, April 14, 2014. I'm Michael Young. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. Mayor and town clerk squares off as Georgetown Council votes to send her on administrative leave following the High Court ruling. Hundreds of Amerindians protest parliamentary opposition's axing of Budget 2014. Two hospitalized after two-way smash-up. Woman fined for slapping husband to the face after bitter argument. And a Kanu officer is arrested in connection with cocaine found in the mail. Let's get right into tonight's top stories. Let's tell you first that pandemonium broke out earlier today in the chambers of the City Council when Mayor Hamilton Green moved a motion to have acting town clerk Carol Soba sent on leave. Of course, the town clerk opposed the move from the onset, and a battle ensued. They say it was Clash of the Titans. Alexis Rodney reports.
Tensions flared in the council's chambers this afternoon as supporters of acting town clerk Carol Soba raised their voices in condemnation of the decision made by Mayor Green to send her on leave pending the outcome of another court action. At the council's statutory meeting, several issues regarding the decision made by Chief Justice Ian Chang were discussed.
And may that be so recorded, and you can't shut me up, Mr. Mayor.
Council Clerk's proposal that the town clerk proceeds on leave immediately is before this council.
That authority is not you needed in the council clerk.
I'm asking those in favor to indicate. Those in favor. Let the recording clerk please make a note that the majority of councillors have proposed that the town clerk proceed on leave immediately.
But councillors such as Kamla Davy Ross and Victor Sobers argued that the mayor neither the council has the right to make any such decision. Meanwhile, Suba, who was calm throughout the entire ordeal, broke her silence, maintaining that she will continue to stand with the decision made by the Chief Justice. She shouted over the microphone that no one could cause her to demit office or take any leave.
Since you have no legal authority to do that, Mr. Mayor, and you cannot supersede the decision of the court. You had always preferred to the public that you had the legal authority to supersede the decision of the court. But ignorance of the law is no excuse, and if you want to interpret the decision of this council to suit your own selfish needs, so be it, but you have no authority and cannot force me out of the office.
The meeting met a premature end as the mayor found it difficult to keep the councillors calm. Last week, the mayor and the city council was thrown into frenzy when word got out that the Chief Justice Ian Chang had ruled that town clerk Carol Soba was unconstitutionally elected to serve in the office by former local government minister Ganga Prasad, and that her position had been therefore quashed. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
A few days after the combined opposition voted against the Amerindian Development Project's budgetary allocation in the National Assembly, Amerindians today took to the parapets opposite Parliament building where they furiously aired their disappointment with the opposition parties. We're joined by Alexis Rodney again.
We want development! 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 We want development!
The rain did not serve to be a deterrent to these indigenous people as they vented their fury with the decision taken by the combined opposition to disapprove the funds allocated for development in their communities. Chairman of the National Tushaus Council, Derek John, said that the Amerindian people felt as though they were robbed by the opposition.
We are here this afternoon just to make our voices be heard, because we are totally disappointed and we are totally angry because what the opposition have did to our budget. They have robbed us of what we rightly deserve. They showed, based upon their action, they show total disrespect, disregard for the first people of this land.
Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sakai also expressed her disappointment with the position that the opposition has taken on the matter. She noted that as a result of their decision, a lot of major projects will be halted.
Denying Amerindian youths a chance to an opportunity within their own community has severe impacts for them. Many Amerindians would wish to remain in their village, to be engaged, to contribute to village development. And here is a chance, a program geared to assist and provide that opportunity. Here the opposition, the combined opposition, APNU and AFC, have decided that they will deny the Amerindian youths this opportunity.
Last week, the opposition voted against $1 billion that was included in the Amerindian Development Fund. They claimed that the money is being grossly misused by the government.
Meanwhile, Community Monitoring, Reporting and Verification Project Manager Brian Allicock says moves by Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and the Alliance for Change, AFC, to cut the $1.1 billion to Amerindian development has placed the lives of approximately 2,000 young Amerindians on the breadline. Details in this Svetlana Marshall report.
Even as the opposition attempts to justify its decision to axe the entire $1.1 billion designated for Amerindian development, the People's Progressive Party Civic continues to muster up support against its opponents. Speaking at Freedom House today, PPP member Brian Allicock, who hails from Region 9, condemned the actions of the Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change in this respect. According to Allicock, the opposition has undoubtedly launched a vicious attack on the indigenous population, heartlessly removing funds earmarked for key developmental projects.
Among the programs that are now affected by the opposition, negative votes are the Secure Livelihood Initiative in Region 1, annual subvention to Bina Hill Institute. This has been ongoing for years. Grants to 10 villages to support ecotourism projects, and $200 million, which goes annually to Tushos, who decide what initiatives they have been tasked by the village to pursue. Equally shocking and shameful was to see 6 Amerindian members of parliament from the opposition, Dr. George Norton, Valerie Garrido-Lowe, Eula Marcello, Renata Williams, Sidney Allicock, and Don Hastings voting against the further advancement of our people.
Allicock further told the press that APNU and AFC have been hypocritical in their actions, advocating for the creation of jobs while simultaneously cutting funds for initiatives that have been designed to generate job opportunities. The opposition had accused the People's Progressive Party Civic of using the Amerindian Development Fund for political purposes, but according to Allicock, their arguments are baseless.
Part of the allocation cut by the opposition includes the apprenticeship scheme for over 2,000 Amerindian youths, involving management, community development, planning, providing much needed assistance to the Tushos and councils of Amerindian villages. And this program, which has previously employed over 900 Amerindian youths, were overwhelmingly endorsed by the leadership of the villages. In the 2014 budget, provisions are made to ensure that every Amerindian village would have these young people learning and providing much needed support to their communities.
He said the young people who will more than likely be affected will be forced to migrate to other parts of the country to gain employment. According to Allicock, the PPPC is the only party with the largest composition of Amerindians because of its unwavering support to the indigenous population.
Thanks, Svetlana. In this report, we hear that a visually impaired woman and a taxi driver are now patients of the Georgetown Public Hospital after the car they were traveling in collided with another vehicle. Hear more details in this report.
66-year-old Dominica Walcott and 34-year-old Sharon Weeks were up till late this afternoon being treated at the Georgetown Public Hospital for injuries they received in a two-vehicle collision this morning. According to eyewitness reports from the scene of the accident, Weeks was heading west on North Road when the driver of the other vehicle, who is yet to be identified, was heading south on Shiv Chandrapal Drive. According to the eyewitness, the other driver failed to stop at a junction and subsequently slammed into the vehicle that was being driven by Weeks. Walcott is said to have sustained injuries to her face and was immediately rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital. She was expected to undergo a CT scan sometime this afternoon. While the driver of the other vehicle escaped from the accident unscratched, Weeks also suffered considerable injuries. Bisham Mohammed at the Evening News.
Michael Quintin, a 20-year-old man of Isla Penitence, was today released on $15,000 bail after he appeared before Magistrate Anne McLennan charged with the possession of cannabis for the sole purpose of trafficking. Facts of the matter read that on April 11, 2014, at around 10:30 hours, police ranks were conducting a foot patrol in Freeman Street, Isla Penitence, when they observed the man sitting at the corner of the said street. Thinking that he looked suspicious, the ranks stopped and carried out a search during which 2 grams of cannabis was found. He was subsequently arrested and charged. The defendant, who was unrepresented, pleaded guilty to the charge. State Prosecutor Dinero Jones told the court that he had no objections to bail. He was placed on $15,000 bail and 4 weeks community service, which is to be served every Monday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Magistrate McLennan stated that the failure to post bail will see the defendant being sentenced to 3 weeks in prison. In this report, you'll hear that a customs officer attached to the Guyana Post Office Corporation at Tamari was this morning arrested in connection with the cocaine found in a mail bag on Friday at the Chedijagan International Airport. Here are details from Tristan Joseph.
According to information, the young man was taken into police custody after a thorough investigation into the incident, which unearthed 644 grams of cocaine in several envelopes in a mail's bag. The bag was about to be loaded onto a Caribbean Airlines flight bound for the John F. Kennedy International Airport. Based on reports, PNB ranks were conducting a routine search when the illegal substance was discovered in several envelopes. Suspicions reportedly arose after the officer did not turn up for work the day after the discovery. He was reportedly contacted and interrogated but denied having any knowledge of the cocaine. He is likely to be charged soon. Back in May 2013, a 19-year-old employee of the Guyana Post Office Corporation at the Chedijagan International Airport was charged following the discovery of 15 kilograms of cocaine in a mail bag destined for the United States. It was reported that on March 21 at the CJIA, Sayer Grant Stewart worked a 6-hour to 14-hour shift and went home but returned to the mail bond with a bag in his possession around 20 to 30 hours. He subsequently asked the security guard on duty at the time to allow him access to the bond since he had forgotten his mobile phone. The security guard was kind enough to allow him into the bond without searching his bag, and after spending almost 10 minutes, he left. On March 22, the bag containing the mail was being prepared to be taken on board a Caribbean Airlines flight when Canoe ranks realized that the weight affixed on the tag of the mail bag did not match the actual weight. This prompted them to check the bag and the illegal substance was discovered.
A 22-year-old Banks DIH employee was today released on $70,000 bail when he appeared before Magistrate Anne McLennan at the Georgetown Magistrates Court to answer the charge of publicizing obscene pictures knowingly and unlawfully in an attempt to corrupt public morals. It is alleged that on March 1, 2014, Angus Durant of 1645 Section B Block X Greater Diamond showed obscene pictures of Tanifa Nichols, whom he shared a relationship with, to the general public. No other facts of the matter were read. Durant, who was unrepresented, pleaded not guilty to the charge. State Prosecutor Dinero Jones told the court that he had no objections to bail but requested that it be set at a substantial sum with the condition that he reports to the Criminal Investigations Department every Friday and an order be given for him to stay away from the virtual complainant Nichols. Magistrate Anne McLennan then ordered that bail be posted at a sum of $70,000 with the attached condition that he reports to the CID every Friday morning and should keep a distance of 50 feet from the VC. He will make another court appearance on May 13, 2014 at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Coming up on the other side of the break, the People's Progressive Party is gearing up for elections. Find out why when we return. Welcome back. You're tuned to the Evening News. Town Clerk Harold Sober says that the selling of vending spots for Easter along the East Coast Highway is a legitimate economic activity which is carried out every year by the administration, and the Deputy Mayor, Patricia Chase Green, was only trying to discredit her by stating otherwise. More details in this report.
The town clerk told the Evening News in an exclusive interview that economic matters were not handled by the council, but rather by the administration, and it was done in a legal manner as permission was sought from the Ministry of Public Works and was received.
The Easter sale of spots on the seawall is an economic activity of this council every year.
Yes.
And this activity legally supposed to be run by the administration, not the political administration, the town clerk, city treasurer, and the staff of the organization. Since I became town clerk, I enforce the rules and the laws, and we go for transparency. That's our watchword. And our aim is to run that exercise in order to gain revenues to this council. All other persons who sell out there, they go there to make money. And the council cleans the mess after. Why should the council legitimately make money?
Suba noted, too, that Chase Green was only seeking to create confusion in the council since she could no longer run the economic activities for her personal use and as such was seeking to discredit her. The Georgetown Mayor and City Council made the headlines last week after Deputy Mayor Patricia Chase Green stated that the town clerk had sold spots along the seawall between Sheriff Street and Kitty without receiving authorization from the council, neither the Ministry of Public Works. Vending and liming was banned from the area early last year after high tides became frequent, resulting in the flooding of the highways. For the Evening News, Gomati Gangadin.
The People's Progressive Party Civic General Secretary Clement Rohi today said much emphasis is being placed on strengthening the party organizationally and ideologically in an effort to respond effectively to the challenges it currently faces in addition to local government and general elections. Svetlana Marshall has details.
Extensive discussions took place also on local and national elections and the party's preparedness to face the electorate whenever the elections are called. The role and militancy of the women and youth arms of the party, the WPO and the PYO was discussed and broad guidelines and directions given on the way forward.
That was People's Progressive Party Civic General Secretary Clement Rohi speaking at Freedom House today. At the time, he was giving the press an update on a meeting held by the Central Committee. Rohi said too that the executives present were also highly critical of the opposition's move to amend the budget.
The meeting condemned the combined opposition parliamentary parties for their continuing attempts to derail the development agenda of the PPP administration by the indiscriminate cuts in budgetary allocations to the Ministry of Marine Affairs, Public Works, and other government agencies.
The Central Committee also registered its concern over the editorial policy of the Kaieteur newspaper.
The meeting was highly critical of the opposition media, particularly the Kaieteur News, for its unrelenting attacks against the PPP and the PPP government. The need for greater party unity and for the party to close ranks in light of the destabilizing attempts by opposition elements.
Despite opposition forces, the committee was pleased with the ability of the Donald Ramotar administration to overcome the challenges. Under the Ramotar presidency, Guyana's economy continues to grow. Svetlana Marshall reporting for the Evening News.
Thanks, Svetlana. The establishment of the Police Service Commission is still in limbo as the head of state, President Donald Ramotar, has yet still not met with the opposition leader, David Granger. Alexis Rodney reports.
The only thing that has been happening between President Donald Ramotar and leader of the main opposition, David Granger, is the trading of letters. Granger said that he was unsure when the constitutional body will be established.
The head of state did write to me, and I did respond to him. There are certain other appointments which have to be made prior to determining the final appointment of the persons he was interested in appointing.
These include the Commissioner of Police and other senior ranks of the police force. The opposition leader maintained that he will not in any way participate or support such a body that stands without a chairman.
For example, the Commissioner of Police could only be appointed on the basis of the fact that one of the persons who had to be consulted was the chairman of the Police Service Commission. So if there is no chairman of the Police Service Commission, the appointment would be incomplete. It would not be in accordance with the Constitution. So I made that clear to the President that I did not want to participate in a process which was flawed.
He said that the National Assembly has the responsibility through its appointment committee to make recommendations. Granger noted too that he will very much welcome a meeting with the President once the chairman of the commission is identified. He said also that the head of state needs to examine the state of affairs of the Judicial Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, and the Commission on the Guyana Defense Force Board. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
A 27-year-old man was today refused bail after being charged with robbery under arms when he appeared at the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court before Magistrate Shredell Marcus Isaacs. Devendra Hari Chand, also called Barra, 27, of Nig Squatting area, was not allowed to plead to the charge. It is alleged that on Wednesday, March 9 at Rose Hall Tongue Public Road, the defendant, along with another accomplice, robbed Ravi Mangali, age 42, of Permal Trading and Distribution situated at Lot 30 Albion Front Quarantine of $10 million Ghana dollars in cash as he was about to make his daily commercial deposit at the Republic Bank branch in the area. Reports are based on information gathered. The police arrested the suspect on Friday, March 11, and he was positively identified by the victim as being one of the persons who robbed him of his cash. The case has been transferred to the Albion Magistrates Court, where the defendant is expected to make his other appearance on April 29, 2014. Join us after these messages when you will hear that police used a fingerprinting identification system to arrest a man who stole over $100,000 from a GRA customer's vehicle. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Several measures are being taken to ensure the safety of citizens during the Easter holidays. Gabriela Patron reports.
Major roads in and around the city will be closed off so as to ensure a smooth flow of traffic, ease congestion, and reduce accidents as Guyanese prepare to join in Easter festivities. This is according to Traffic Chief Hugh Denhurt, who stated that persons need to be very careful around this time so as to avoid any tragedies.
The seawall would be closed off from both ends, which is from the east at Vicinian Road by the pump station. No entry to traffic going west, and from Pegasus Hotel area, no entry to traffic, vehicular traffic going east. That area will be closed entirely for the whole day to ensure that persons have free access to fly their kites. Also, Carfest Avenue will be closed for vehicles traveling west. Vehicles would only be permitted to travel east from Camp Road to JB Singh Vicinian Road area. So anybody approaching that area from east wishing to continue west will have to turn south into Vicinian Road. As I said again, between the period for things from 9 to 18 hours, that road will be closed. Vehicles would only be allowed to travel east only.
Presently, there is an increased police presence in the mornings, which help to maintain law in the lead up to the Easter holidays. He took the opportunity to appeal to all road users to do not drink and drive.
There is a general appeal to all road users, and especially operators of minibuses. They are to desist from carrying overload, speeding on the roadway, and to drivers, this weekend, the coming holiday weekend, we'll be out there checking for you guys who likes to drink and drive. So be warned, don't be caught driving under the influence.
There has been 19 road fatalities from 18 accidents recorded at the end of February 2014. The other categories of accidents, serious, minor, and damage, have seen reductions up to the end of February this year in comparison to last year. For the Evening News, I'm Gabrielle Batram.
A 31-year-old taxi driver was today remanded to prison by Magistrate Anne McLennan after he appeared before her at the Georgetown Magistrates Court charged with the offense of simple larceny. Particulars of the case read that the virtual complainant, Ashraf Ali, on November 7, 2013 parked his car in front of the Ghana Revenue Authority in Camp Street, after which he proceeded into the building to conduct personal business. On his subsequent return to the vehicle, the man observed that his car window was broken and a sum of $196,000 Ghana, which was left in his car, was missing. He contacted the police, who took the fingerprints which were present on the window and sent them for analysis. The fingerprints were run using the passport database. It was found that the fingerprints matched those of Jason Hunt, the taxi driver who resides at Lot 44 Grove, East Bank, Demerara. He was approached, told of the offense, and arrested, the facts stated. Legal counsel Paul Fungafat, who represented the accused, stated that his client was a husband and a father of one and never had any brushes with the law. He also questioned the reliability of the fingerprint analysis, noting that that alone cannot convict his client. Fungafat requested reasonable bail for his client. Police prosecutor Deniro Jones objected to the bail, citing the nature, gravity, and prevalence of the offense. Hunt was further remanded to prison and is expected to make a return to court on May 13, 2014 for fixtures and reports. A Durban Street woman is celebrating her 100th birthday anniversary and is extremely happy to have achieved another milestone in her life. Here are details in this report.
Mistress Iris McAdam of Durban Street Working Rough celebrated her 100th birthday on Friday. When this newscast visited her, she said that she was living by the grace of God, explaining that many days her inspiration and strength is derived from her interaction with Him.
It was the happiest day for me yesterday, to be a century. Many people would have been glad of it they live.
Mistress McAdam fellowships at the Brickdam Cathedral, and on Friday, members of the cathedral held a Thanksgiving service with her family and friends. During the interview, she also stated that she is young and never felt so alive in her life.
I was born in 1940. I was born in Georgetown. I never went in the country. I was born by camp on Durban Street.
McAdam has been a seamstress for over 57 years, and she stated that if she had one wish now, it would be to sew again. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriella Patram.
The Ghana Police Force has denied ever being told the whereabouts of Fowles businessman Rajendra Singh before he was executed by his abductors, even as it announced that 6 men are now in custody for the crime.
The Ghana Police Force in a release said that, contrary to reports published in a Starbuck News article, it was never informed of the whereabouts of Rajendra Singh prior to him being found in the Repentir Cemetery. The police made these comments on Sunday while responding to an article published in the Sunday Starbuck News under the heading, "Police told where kidnapped victim held, did not search house until too late." In the article, it is stated that the police had been informed that murdered car dealer Rajendra Singh was being held captive in an abandoned house at Kutfawaktin, East Coast, Demerara, but ranks only visited the location hours later when he had been removed by his kidnappers. According to the police, in responding to the report received, Singh's motor vehicle was recovered on the railway embankment at Goodforwachton on the very night of his kidnapping. As a result, intensive patrols comprising police ranks and community policing personnel were mounted in the Goodforwachton area, but no useful information was obtained, nor was anything suspicious seen nor found. The police said the following day the patrols continued and were extended to Pleasance and Sperrendam, including the squatting areas. The release also noted that on Tuesday the police received information that a kidnapped victim was in a house in the Goodforwachton squatting area, and searches were conducted on the target house and 2 others also in that area. Searches were also conducted on an abandoned rice factory at Claybrick Road, Goodforwachton. However, nothing of evidential value was found.
On the other side of the break, you'll hear that a charity woman is fined for slapping her husband. This is the evening news. Welcome back. Aloma Larry from Lot 142 Charity Housing Scheme on the Essequibo Coast was fined $10,000 for slapping her husband. Larry appeared before Magistrate Sunil Scarce today at the Charity Magistrates Court. She pleaded guilty to the charge, which stated that on April 11th at the Charity Housing Scheme, she unlawfully assaulted Mr. Dion Ryan. The particulars stated that on the day in question, the virtual complainant and the defendant, who are reputed husband and wife, had an argument over the VC going out. The accused held to the VC's bicycle and then slapped him to his face. The defendant stated that she slapped the VC after he verbally abused her. The defendant was fined $10,000 or 1 week imprisonment. Several days after 4 boats exploded, the Port Kaituma River was polluted with vast amounts of oil. But Natural Resources Minister Robert Broussard said that officers from the Environmental Protection Agency have been dispatched to the region and are assessing the effects of the oil spill. Details in this report.
Speaking to this newscast, Natural Resources Minister Robert Broussard said that the officers from the Environmental Protection Agency have been sent to Port Kaituma and are evaluating the effect of a recent oil spill.
There are regional health officers there, and I've asked the EPA to support and to collaborate with them should they require any technical help or support in this regard. They're still doing that assessment. I mean, primarily we'll be looking in terms of marine life, what impact it would have, as well as whether it gets into the water stream, whether downriver. But the EPA is working very closely with the regional authorities in this.
A few days after 4 oil-laden boats exploded in Port Kaituma, residents there had complained that the oil from the boats had contaminated their waterways. In a published article, one resident had related that over 800 households were affected since the contaminated water was being used by residents for varying household purposes. The residents had maintained that the river is their main water source and is currently severely polluted by the waste fuel and other residual elements from the explosion. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
2 new ambulances costing some Ghana $16 million were today handed over to the Ghana Fire Service by Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi. At a simple ceremony outside of the ministry's Lower Brickdam office, Fire Chief Marlon Gentle was heartened at the gesture, which he explained would aid in the support of fire emergency operations. He said that emergency services will also be rendered to the public whenever the need arises. Join us on the other side of the break for your sport news. Welcome back. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the world of sport. But first, your headlines. Edgell takes bronze in Canada. GASA hosts successful inter-club championships, 7 Ghana Cup fever on, and Blairmont CCC Cricket Clinic starts today. Our sportscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of Macor.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Macor, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. It's now time for a look at the sport in detail. National table tennis prodigy Chelsea Egil teamed up with Belgium's Lisa Long to capture a bronze medal in the 2014 edition of the Butterfly Canadian Open Junior and Cadet Championships, with the Guyanese-Belgium pair finishing second in their group. The duo had to face US's A team in their semi-final, but lost as the USA went on to take gold in the team's event. Egil also made it out of the group stages in the singles competition, but was topped in the final 16 by Canada's Michelle Leah 2-3, with the fifth and deciding set going down to the wire and ended at 12-10 in favor of the Canadian. The Rado Speed Swim Club is the best swimming club in Guyana after blowing their opponents out of the water to win the Ghana Amateur Swimming Association's Interclub Championship on Sunday at the National Aquatic Center. Tristan Joseph reports.
620 points and 73 medals assured the Rado Swim Club a comprehensive victory at the championships. Second place went to Dolphin Swimming Club with 299 points and 31 medals, while Silver Shark Aquatic Club was third with 155 points and 20 medals. Orca Swim Club was fourth with 78 points and 7 medals. Dorado's Brittany Van Lange accumulated the most individual points for all of the female swimmers with 52 points, while Leon Seaton of Silver Shark had the most points for boys with 52 points as well. Van Lange in the girls 15 years and over took the girls 100 and 200 meters freestyles, 50 meters butterfly, 100 meters breaststroke and 50 meters freestyle events. Her only loss came in the girls 50 meters backstroke to teammate Soraya Simmons. Seaton in the boys 9 to 10 years took the 50 meters butterfly, 100 meters freestyle, 50 meters freestyle and 200 meter freestyle events. The championship ended on Sunday with Dorado making a statement with a win in the 50 meters mixed medley relay.
Registration for the 7th annual Guyana Cup Fever horse race meet closes tomorrow, and according to organizers, no late entries will be accepted. Interested horse owners must submit 50% of their entry fees by the closing date. The race meet is slated for this Sunday at the Port Moron Turf Club, Quarantine, Berbice, and will be held in collaboration with the Jumbo Jet Auto Sales. It is being conducted under the rules of the Ghana Horse Racing Authority, and according to organizers, those rules would be rigidly enforced. 8 races are carded for the day in what is expected to be a very competitive day of racing. The Blairmont Community Centre Cricket Club Easter Holidays Cricket Clinic commenced this afternoon from 1300 hours at the Blairmont Estate Ground. Under the Team Cricket Lifestyle, the clinic will run from April 25 and will benefit lots of youngsters between the ages of 10 to 17 residing within Ithaca to Abari on the west coast of Berbice. According to the club president, Shamir Bash, participants will be taken through the paces by a team of experienced and qualified coaches. The participants will be enabled to further enhance their knowledge of the fundamentals of the game, while lectures will be held on topics such as peer pressure, teenage pregnancy, road safety, sports and education, leadership, tobacco, alcohol, among others. The clinic runs until 1700 hours daily. Your Bridge reports are next. You're tuned to the Evening News.
Believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. It's now time for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, April 15 at 500 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. The Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, April 15 at 16 hours 35 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Monday, April 14 edition of the Evening News. I'm Michael Young. Thanking you very much for joining us and encouraging you to do join us tomorrow at 1300 hours for a look at the news break. Goodbye.